Welcome y'all, this is Jordan Parker, founder and creator of Optimized Minerals, and this is my first ever YouTube video. I'm really excited about this channel. I appreciate you subscribing, and if you haven't subscribed, we are giving away one free bag of Optimized Minerals every single month to help spread the word and grow the channel, so tell your friends, tell your family. But I'm looking forward to, of course, on this channel, speaking about minerals, most importantly, speaking about the product, clearing up some confusion in the supplement space, what ingredients are really bad, what processes are really bad, and give you guys some hard facts about that. So you know, and you're informed as a consumer. Also, of course, giving you guys tips that I've learned over the years in holistic health with, what to do when you get sick, workout tips, food to eat, healthy alternatives, all the things. But for this specific video, I'm very excited. If you guys haven't heard yet, my story. My story is a big reason why, and really main reason why I do what I do. And it has a huge impact on the reason of what I created here with Optimized Minerals. So let's jump into it, okay? This story for me, this whole journey starts with actually when I was a young kid. I struggled with severe asthma and allergies to where when I was a baby, my throat actually closed a few times and doctor said I wasn't supposed to live. And obviously that's not fun for a first, parent to hear. And they had to intubate me. I had to go in the NICU, like it was a big thing. So after that, years later, Western medicine's idea of helping me was to limit me. They basically said, hey, you can't play certain sports. You can't go outside for a certain amount of time. You can't eat these foods ever. You can't. And it was hey, always have your inhaler, always have this. And it was ridiculous. I still remember to this day, even when I was a young kid, just a few years old, I still have the picture in my mind. I don't know why this memory stuck with me, but I remember having to watch my neighbors play outside without me because I already had my time outside. Okay, so as a family, that didn't sound right. My mom, my dad, they kind of ventured elsewhere. They started to learn elsewhere, even though holistic health, alternative medicine, applied kinesiology, all that stuff was super new. They took a leap of faith, and they started to research. They started to read just to try to figure out, all right, what can we do to help my kid? How can we get my kid to 100% or at least close to 100% so he can be a kid and play sports and go outside and just enjoy life? Okay, so that's kind of the start of this whole holistic side. Now, back then, 20 plus years ago, information was not readily available. You couldn't just scroll on TikTok, find some information, Google it, and it would pull up. YouTube wasn't like it was. I don't even think YouTube was around at that point. So you had to do your own digging. You had to do your own trial and error. You had to do some research. You had to read a lot. And you had to try a lot of different practitioners and different methods just to see what would work. Now, the main symptoms that I dealt with was allergies to food, allergies to the environment, like very severe puffy eyes, headache, congestion. I got sick constantly, and I just generally felt, really in my opinion, about halfway there. I was halfway functional. As my parents, as a family, we broke away from Western medicine, I did get some relief. I was able to start playing sports. I was able to start going outside a little more, but I just still dealt with those symptoms that were very bothersome. So we had to be very picky. We had to eat very clean. We tried, I remember from a young age, taking a bunch of different supplements and like dinosaur gummies and all these different things to try to help my little body out. Now, fast forward a little bit. In high school, I started to get pretty passionate about this subject in particular because I saw how severe it was to what it grew to. And I was like, all right, I feel better. I'm generally healthy, and don't mind Kira in the background. Generally healthy, I was able to do most things, but I was the kid that, had to bring the lunchbox to school. I was getting made fun of for that. I was just the outcast because I was doing all these different holistic things that was not common at all back in the day. Funny enough, some of those people ended up asking for my help down the road, but we won't go there. But that did start when I started helping some of those kids. I made meal plans for people. I just gave some tips and, recommended some holistic medicine and homeopathic options instead of some Western medicine options that I found to be pretty effective for when you were sick or when you needed a little boost or when you needed to clear some congestion up. Since we used that stuff my whole life and I saw some relief, I wanted to recommend it and help some other people at least feel better. And then I grew it a little bit from there. Always had that passion. I played multiple different sports in high school. I ended up playing college baseball for 6 years. It's a big blessing. Actually, short story on that. I had to walk on out of high school. Nobody knew who I was. I didn't have any offers, and I worked my way all the way up to the Division I level. So while doing that, I studied kinesiology and nutrition along with business. My first 3 years were learning about kinesiology at junior college and a Division I university. And then I finished out with nutrition and business, which was awesome. Very eye-opening. I learned a ton. And it just fueled my passion more to want to figure out, all right, what makes our body tick? What do we really need to get it to 100%? And behind the scenes, of course, I was reading, I was watching things, listening to things, because I was still dealing at the time in college with the allergies. I was still sensitive to foods. I still got sick all the time. And that was very frustrating as an athlete because I didn't want to miss practice or miss games or anything like that. So I wanted to figure it out, bottom line. Now, I go through college. I enjoy myself. I make it through with what I had to. And in 2021, when I graduated, right after that, I started to heavily dive into this because I graduated. I was like, all right, I got my degree. Now what? But that passion for health and wellness and nutrition, holistic health and healing was always there. So I dove in even more so, started reading more, started researching, and again, trying to find, all right, what is it my body needs? So shortly after I graduated, it was the summer of 2021, I heard about minerals. I was like, oh, someone was talking about how minerals were really important, how they could be the root cause of all these diseases and issues. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna look into that. And I did. I found a very big book. It was over 700 pages on minerals. Read that a few times. I read some other books. I listened to some info about minerals from other, podcasts, individuals who've been studying them a long time. And then I started to, most importantly, try them. I was like, all right, let's give it a try. What's the hype about? And I started taking herbal tea. Herbal tea was phenomenal. It helped me a ton. I felt really, really good. And that actually is the start of what helped clear up my symptoms, because that herbal tea was very high in minerals, specifically burdock root, which we do use burdock root and optimized minerals now. But that was the start right there. My complaint with herbal tea is it was a little pricey. It was inconvenient to make. It was hard to travel with. And it was just kind of a chore every day. I liked it because of the results, but I wasn't super consistent with doing it every day. So then I tried to do trace mineral drops. And I was like, all right, maybe this would be a little more convenient, a little easier for me. And then I combined like different mineral pills with it to try to make up for what the trace mineral drops didn't have. And then next thing you know, I'm adding in other vitamins and other herbs and I ended up having 10 to 15 pills a day I was taking to try to just get everything my body needed. But most importantly, the motivation that kept me focused on minerals was after a few months, I think it was about 6 months of consistently taking them, I no longer had allergies to food. I no longer had any allergies in the environment side, no puffy eyes, no headache, no nothing. I felt really good during allergy season. And I had not been sick since then, which is crazy. The only thing I changed was adding in those bioavailable minerals that our body can actually absorb and utilize without competition. I started to do saunas a lot more and a lymphatic massage. Those 3 things are very important. So with that in mind, I was like, okay, minerals work. The people who were talking about them weren't playing around. So now around 2022, this is when I start to think about, okay, let's look at what's out there. I didn't like the tea. I didn't like the drops. I didn't like my current supplement routine. It was expensive. It was really annoying to travel with, trying to take 10, 15 different pills, take them at different times, especially because I didn't always eat right away in the morning. So if I tried to fast, I would have to skip on my entire multivitamin and take all the separate stuff, separate minerals, separate water-soluble vitamins, separate herbs I wanted, amino acids, and it became a lot. So I started to look at what was out there on Amazon, on TikTok, on Google, like, all right, what mineral-focused products are out there that are convenient, that taste good, that don't have a bunch of extra additives and fake fillers and things that do the opposite effect of what the minerals are trying to do. And it didn't exist. There was nothing out there I could find. So that's when, like I said, 2022, around this time, I started to think about, okay, let's create something. let's see what we can make. And I had already been doing a lot of research. I saw the results myself, and I just had to do a little more research and just make it all come together. So actually, it's pretty cool. This little journal I have has some of the, probably can't see it, but all up here, I remember writing this down. These were different names I was trying to figure out of, all right, what do I call this company? I was like, do I call it Source? Do I call it Regain, Origin, Rise, Link, Main, Forge? I was like, man, minerals are the missing link. Minerals are so important. And I was like trying to create a name, or just mineral. Some of them were taken, some of them weren't flowing right. And then one day I was like, man, why don't I just keep this simple? What is really God speaking to me right now? And I was like, optimize. I kept hearing optimize. I was like, all right, optimize minerals. Let's keep it simple. That's what the whole goal is. We're trying to optimize our mineral intake. And that's what we're doing, obviously. And that's what the whole focus of the company is. Obviously, our first product is called Optimized Minerals, but also every other product is going to be mineral focused or have minerals a part of it, because they're very overlooked, they're not talked about, and people need them. So as I started to develop a name, I started to develop, what I kind of wanted the product to be like. I at first wanted to make it unflavored. I thought that would be a good idea, so you can add it in different things. But as I learned and studied a little more, minerals taste really gross, and it would not have worked well. So we basically made dirt taste good with real fruit and optimized minerals, which was awesome. But I started to really dive into chelation, antagonist relationships between minerals, ratios, correct forms, like all that studying I was doing before was all just coming together to be able to formulate this product. And then at the time, it was about end of 2023, I was able to come to a formulator and be like, hey, I did all this research. I've been working on this for a few years. Here's what I want in the formula. And we were on the same page. We understood the same things. Like everything I researched was not just like a bunch of random stuff. He was like, oh yeah, like you're actually super right. And he was telling me, he's like, most people that want me to formulate a product for them, the formulator usually does all that thinking for them. But I did all the thinking. And he was able to put it together and give some suggestions here and there. He has 30 years of experience of making incredible products. So I thought that was really cool. I was like, man, the time and headache paid off. And just hearing that reaction from him was really cool. So we put something together that's amazing. We put, in my opinion, this is the most minerals you can find in a bag. You got your 70 plus ionic trace minerals. Minerals from burdock root, the herb I use that really helped me. Minerals from sea salt. We also have minerals coming from aloe vera and chelated minerals. Crazy, crazy combo. But most importantly, they're all well absorbed. They don't compete for absorption. That's another thing I'll talk about in another video. Antagonist relationship between these minerals and vitamins. It's not talked about enough. So we also, to save, because remember, my routine was jumbled. I had a bunch of separate things. So we got all the minerals in one bag. We put the B complex that's methylated. We put vitamin C, we put methylfolate, biotin, ginkgo biloba, taurine, and a few other things. And basically just created this synergistic formula that in a way mimics food. That aloe vera we have in there increases absorption of all nutrients because of the essential compounds and enzymes and amino acids it has to mimic what we get in food to absorb it. And then we fast forward January of 2024, we're in 2024, we launched the product. We started taking pre-orders late December. We started shipping product in end of January, February. And fast forward now, this is our 9th month in business. That's basically when this video is going to be posted. 9 months later, we've sold over 25,000 units. We've sold out 3 times, all organically. I don't pay for ads. I don't pay influencers to talk about it. I spent the time and the research to make sure what I formulated would actually work, would actually give you benefit. And also, while educating on a subject that's very overlooked, minerals, we need them. We need them way more than we think. And in the future videos, I'm going to talk about that. Why we're deficient in minerals, why we need more of them, why our food is not enough. And then obviously how important each mineral is for our body's function. It's something that our body requires. It's not an option. So getting them every day is one of the most sure things, one of the most important things you can do, because also they are water soluble. We can't produce them at all. We have to rely on food and now supplements in conjunction. So thank you guys for sticking around. I'm really excited for the future of this channel. I'm gonna try to post once a week, that's the goal. Tell your friends, remember, 1 free bag a month. We're giving away of optimized minerals. And I'll see you next time.